everyone, it's Monica, and on this episode of Polish Mama Cooks, I want to show you how to save time on cooking one meal for your whole family that they can preheat whenever they need and whenever they're hungry. It's called Kotlet Mielony z kapustą or Sznycel with cooked cabbage. What? Yeah, Sznycel in Malopolska is a frikadeller, so we're gonna try to make frikadellers with cooked cabbage. My mom prepared it every time whenever she was very busy. She knew that we can just go into the fridge, take it out, put it on a plate, put it in the microwave, and she knew we're gonna have something to eat. So I always start with the cabbage because it needs more time to cook than the frikadellers. I use one green cabbage, half of the onion because the other half goes to the schnitzels, some fresh dill, some tomatoes, salt and pepper, and some olive oil to fry the onions. So I start with cleaning the cabbage. I take the top leaves off and then clean it under water, cut it into halves, into quarters, and then shred it with my knife, but you can use the food processor. For this recipe, I don't use the end of the cabbage, but you can easily freeze it and then put it in your vegetable or chicken stock. To make sure that your cabbage doesn't taste bland, you need an onion. So I peel and dice an onion and use half of it for the cabbage and the other half for the schnitzels. So I now gonna cook the cabbage. I'm taking the biggest pot that I can find and then put all the shredded cabbage inside it. To make sure that I don't burn the cabbage during cooking, I pour about 2 cups of water. I fill the pot 1/3 from the bottom. I cook it for about 20 minutes on a medium heat with a lid on. I am not a big fan of putting the lids on because they usually make vegetables look gross and kind of change the color of them. However, here it's just not going to change much, but it's going to make the cabbage cook faster. While the cabbage starts to cook, I'm reheating some olive oil on a frying pan and then starting to cook my onion. I fry it on medium heat for probably 20 minutes. It should be sweet, not burned. So now I'm gonna start on my other ingredients. I'm gonna dice the tomatoes and then I'm gonna chop some dill. I use about half of the full package that you can get, and I use a fresh dill, but if you don't have one you can always use dry one. Just make sure you don't use too much because the flavor is much more intense. While doing that, don't forget from time to time to check on your onion, mix it a bit, and check on your cabbage if there is still water in it. Making that cabbage involves a lot of attention to make sure that it doesn't burn, but you know, it's worth it. There is a side dish for 2 or 3 days. Cabbage is cooking on the stove, so I will start with the schnitzel. I need 2 pounds of minced pork, a pound of minced beef, some fresh parsley, 1 dry kaiser roll, some breadcrumbs, the diced onion from the half of the onion, some milk, about half a cup, 1 egg, and some salt and pepper. Soaking the stale bread in the milk is a crucial thing for schnitzels. It helps the schnitzels stay plumpy and juicy throughout the cooking process. By the way, kaiser roll is a very hard thing for me to say, so kaiserka is much easier, and it means the same, but in Polish. Soaking the kaiser roll is going to take about 15 minutes, so I'm gonna use that time to put the onion into the cabbage and drink a coffee. There is a lot of flavor on the frying pan, so use a bit of cabbage, put it on the frying pan, clean it with the cabbage, and then put it back into the pot with the cabbage. When all of that is done, I'm putting about 2 big teaspoons of salt into the cabbage and about 10 twists of pepper grinder. While the cabbage is simmering on the stove and the kaiser roll is almost done drinking the milk, I'm gonna cut some parsley. I chop it quite fine, so there is not too many big chunks of it in the schnitzels. And now my favorite part of making schnitzels, just mixing all the ingredients together. I start by adding minced beef with the pork. I mix it a bit and then add the onion and then the soaked kaiser roll. Next is previously chopped parsley, the egg, 2 teaspoons of salt, and about 5 twists of a pepper grinder. The meat is ready to be made into schnitzels when you can make a firm ball out of it. My meat is firm, so I'm gonna now wash my hands because I need to check back on my cabbage. After 40 minutes of medium simmering, my cabbage should be ready, so now I'm gonna add the tomatoes and the fresh dill that I chopped. The cabbage is almost done. I just need to taste it and see if it doesn't need extra salt or pepper. I need to add a tablespoon of salt and probably about 6 trims of pepper. At this point the cabbage is ready. Don't cover it because the tomato is going to lose the color. Leave it for 10 more minutes. And now I'm going to shape my schnitzels. I take a bit of breadcrumbs, put it on the tray so they won't stick. I'm rolling the ball out of the meat. Basically anything between the size of a golf ball or a tennis ball is just fine. And then I just make it flat and round, like an oval. From this amount of ingredients I can make around 15 schnitzels. They're almost ready to be fried, just need to color them a bit more with breadcrumbs. I'm gonna start to fry them. Just need very hot oil. I use olive oil, and I keep them on the frying pan until they brownish golden brown. Thank you for watching my video. I still have some schnitzels to do, however I at least have to try one. I love it. It tastes like the one that my mom used to make. It is quite intense flavor of the meat, however the cabbage just makes it much softer, so they go perfectly together. If you like that movie, please give it thumbs up and see you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye bye!
Smacznego!